discharge petition he's ready to unveil on that bill. Would you sign that discharge petition if yours remains at 2 votes?
There's one discharge petition that I'm committed to at the moment, and that's the 3-year extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which currently has 214 members of Congress on it. So all we need are 4 Republicans to join us. I haven't had an opportunity to review the legislation being put forth by Representative Fitzpatrick and Representative Golden. Of course, I'll take a look at it to see if there's anything meaningful there as it relates to a path to getting something done. But many of my Republican colleagues talk a lot, but they don't produce anything. And we saw this consistently during the One Big Ugly Bill debate. These very same Republicans, in many instances, were the ones who were saying under no circumstances were they going to cut Medicaid. And then almost every single one of them, with the exception of Representative Fitzpatrick and Representative Massey, every single one of them, other than those 2, voted to enact the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. And in the same bill, they ripped $186 billion away from SNAP. These people literally stole food from the mouths of hungry children, seniors, and veterans, and all of this was done so they can enact massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors. And then they made those permanent. And now here we are, clock is ticking, in December, Affordable Care Act tax credits expire on the 31st at the end of the month, and bills are still being introduced now? Listen, the most meaningful path forward, clearly, is for just a handful of Republicans to join us in the House and for just a handful of Senate Republicans to vote in the next day or so on the bill that will be on the Senate floor that will extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit, so that tens of millions of people, including in dozens of Republican-controlled states, don't have their health care snatched away from them because it becomes unaffordable.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. 2 quick questions. One, as Democrats look to retake the majority in both chambers, are you planning to make an endorsement in the Texas Senate race? And 2, yesterday, Congresswoman Crockett said that she won't need to win all the Trump voters in order to win the Texas Senate race. And given that state is dominantly red, would you say that it's vital that any candidate projects their message across the board to every single voter in order to win the state?
Well, I think I'm obviously focused on the House, not the Senate, and we're only 3 seats short of taking back the majority, and we are going to take the majority back in the next Congress. The Republicans have been a disaster. They're totally on the run. They failed the American people. The cost of living is out of control. Democrats are the only group of people in this town and across the country actually interested in dealing with the affordability crisis. That's where our focus will continue to be. Donald Trump and Republicans don't even think that there is an affordability crisis. I mean, Donald Trump had the nerve to call it a hoax and a scam. Think about that. This guy just regularly lies to the American people. The same person who ran on affordability last year when he was trying to convince the American people to vote for him, and even said along with Republicans that they were going to lower the cost of living on day one, now says there is no affordability crisis. To me, that's what the American people are concerned about. Which party is actually committed to making their life better? That would be us, Democrats, as demonstrated last month in the off-year elections all across the country, which is why Democrats decisively won up and down the ballot. In terms of what's happening in Texas in the Senate race, before anyone gets to the general election, obviously there's going to be a competitive primary, and so we'll see what happens during the first Tuesday in March.
Do you think any endorsement from you might add fuel to that fire and help get a win?
We're still in the process of working through the House battlefield, so I've got no visibility into what we might do at any point into the future relative to the Senate. At the moment, we'll leave that to Chuck Schumer and the crew over there. You got it. You. Yeah. We'll go you, and then we'll go to you. How's that work?
If Republicans try to pass the NDAA on suspension, will Democrats provide enough votes for them to pass, and how will you vote?
Well, that's still going to be a